blackmailed because of what's in those damned records. He felt his heart pound. He was overweight and had a coronary condition, which frightened him when he allowed himself to think about it. He closed his eyes and tried to get his emotions under control. Liz Sansborough was the only child of Hal Sansborough, the Carnivore, who had been one of the Cold War's most feared and elusive independent assassins. Despite competition for notoriety from others such as Carlos the Jackal and Imad Fayez Mughniye and the Abbot, the Carnivore was the real legend among those who knew about such things, hated, but hired by all sides. He had never made a mistake big enough to jeopardize his identity. No photos of him existed, and until near the time he killed himself, no one had been able to discover his real name. He had been a chimera, a chameleon in the world's soft underbelly of spies and international criminals, indestructible, the man without a face. When Cronus spoke again, his voice was less accusatory. "Are you going to do what the blackmailer wants, Themis?" "Never." The Secretary of State's tone left no doubt. "We've got to find those records ourselves. I keep thinking about the 3 clippings I sent you. The answer may be in one of them." He removed them from his briefcase. "If it is, I don't see it." Mellencamp said nothing, studying them. The Times, Great Britain. Sir Robert Childs MP was found dead in his bathtub today, his wrists slashed in an apparent suicide. His maid, who discovered the popular parliamentarian's body, says she found a note that relayed deep regrets to his family about his secret life with call girls. Bild, Germany, translated. The nation awoke in shock this morning to discover Chancellor Hans Raab had resigned at midnight. Hounded by charges that he accepted illegal donations in return for political influence during his 16 years in power, he... The Washington Post, United States. In yet another electoral surprise, the 6th congressman in as many weeks has announced he is dropping out of his congressional race. Jay White, D. Oregon, cited the birth of his 3rd child, saying he needed to return to the private sector to earn a larger income to support his family. That makes a total of 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, each from the extreme right or left wing of his party, who will not run for re-election. None faced a serious challenge. "Take Sir Robert," Mellencamp said. "He bled out in a bathtub like some mad Roman senator, supposedly because he'd been discovered sweating up the sheets with a few whores. Ridiculous that he'd kill himself over such a minor matter. In certain circles around London, it was known he used call girls. Exactly. He must have been afraid something else would come out, something huge for him to commit suicide." Mellencamp sighed. "And now Rob's resigned with the excuse of financial shenanigans. It's unbelievable he'd resign at midnight like a run-of-the-mill thief because of some minor illegality like a slush fund. At least he can't ram through his choice for Director General of Trade now. The environmental restrictions would have set back international markets 10 years. The voice on the other end of the line hesitated and resumed thoughtfully. "Maybe that's it. Maybe Rob was blackmailed into resigning because of some appointment he was going to make, and the slush fund was just an excuse to give the public." Mellencamp nodded. "But how does that relate to all the congressmen who've dropped out here before the election? 3 from the far right, 3 from the far left. If we're correct and the Carnivore's files are what the blackmailer's using, then something has to connect the congressman, Robert Childs, Chancellor Robb, and you. Perhaps you should do what the blackmailer wants, Themis. After all, he threatened your life. It's not such a big request. A minor change in that new EU-US agreement." Mellencamp erupted. "I told you, no!" and then sank into stony silence. He had revealed to Cronus what was necessary about his being blackmailed, no more. He would not discuss it further. But Cronus was already talking again, his voice intense as he pondered. "What is it that you have in common? You come from different countries, different lines of work, although all of you are involved in politics somehow. All of you are men, white men, and in power. We know you hired the Carnivore. or your wife did. Mellencamp snapped, "Leave her out of it." Ruth had died 5 years before, and he still grieved. She had made a misstep when she was young. With a boyfriend, she had gone to the Carnivore to stop a U.S. senator who had raped her younger sister. The senator and his powerful father, who had always protected him, died together in a yachting accident in the Mediterranean. Cronus continued, "Our investigators found the Carnivore was connected to Rob and 2 of the 6 congressmen. The blackmailer doesn't seem to be after money. Is there some kind of overall plan, or is this simply a madman operating on whim?" "Lord knows," Mellencamp said tiredly. "Our people have come up with nothing but dead ends. They say it's like looking for a ghost in the fog. Whoever's got the files seems to know exactly how to remain beyond our reach, which makes me ask again, are you sure the assassin's daughter knows nothing?" Mellencamp sat up, wary. "Almost completely certain." The voice was cold, businesslike. "She's the last living link to the Carnivore. She must be eliminated before she can hurt us." This was what Mellencamp had feared. "Each death draws a spotlight," he argued. "The greater the accumulation of light, the more attention is attracted. Kill her and we increase the risk to ourselves that we'll be discovered. Instead, it'd be much better for us, much safer, to control her." There was a surprised silence. Mellencamp spoke into it, his tone now disinterested. He must not act as if he was asking a favor. Cronus would want to negotiate, and this was not negotiable. "If we arrange it right, Sansborough could turn out to be useful, perhaps vital if we can get a handle on who has the files, or if she remembers something that she doesn't realize is important. As you said yourself, she's our last link." "Possibly," the voice from the distance admitted. "You have a plan?" "Of course." Relieved, Mellencamp smiled to himself. "Consider the situation. Right now, Sansborough is at loose ends and probably depressed. Both her parents are dead, and her husband was killed long ago. She has no brothers or sisters, and because of the life she's been leading, she has no real friends, except her cousin in California. Sarah Walker, yes, I remember. And what she wants most is to go back to work for Langley, because that's what she understands. It's familiar, comfortable. Your DCI considers her a security risk." "Of course Arlene does, and she's right. Arlene will continue to offer her the hope of contract work just to keep her quiet. But there's nothing Sansborough can do to make it right with Langley. She's been keeping busy by working on a graduate degree in psychology at Georgetown. I've encouraged her to continue. What we must do is create an opportunity for her in that field, something irresistible. But we must move quickly before she finds some other interest or gets in our way somehow. If we handle this right, she'll vanish into academia, just another woman with a past she'd like to forget. A cipher in some college or university, small. Then as long as she stays quiet and out of the way, we can watch her. She won't be a danger to us, or to herself." Gray Mellencamp lived on a thoroughbred horse farm some 40 miles east of the safe house. The limousine had left the country road for the Beltway, where the nighttime traffic was thick and frustrating, normal for this hour. The moon was rising, casting a wash of silver across the speeding cars and the houses and the businesses, which spread in a vast ocean of winking lights everywhere he looked. He returned the clippings to his briefcase, relieved Cronus had agreed to his plan. His mind wandered tiredly, avoiding the touchy parts of his past, but as soon as the limo paused at the farm's front gatehouse and the security guard waved the limo onto his land, he began to relax. Although he had not located the Carnivore's files, at least he had saved an innocent woman's life. The limo pulled up to his front portico, where lighted carriage lamps sent a yellow glow across the brick drive. Chet jumped out from behind the wheel and ran around to open the door. Mellencamp emerged into the cold, carrying his briefcase. He nodded at Chet and climbed the front steps wearily. 6 a.m. tomorrow, sir?" Chet called to his back. "Yes, of course. See you then." Unaccountably, Mellencamp turned to add a final few words to his driver. "Have a nice night, Chet." "Thank you, sir. You too, sir." The Secretary of State walked inside, where the house was aromatic.